Hey everybody, Stephen GetMoneyMyrick here. Today we're going to be talking about transcending spheres and why you need to be using them for stellar shards instead of using them for crystals of transcendence. Before I get into the reasons for those, I did want to give a quick breakdown of how the void works for any players that may not still fully understand how it works, how you get these resources, and then I want to really dig into the reasons why every YouTube content creator is telling you you need to be using your spheres on shards instead of on crystals. So, for anybody that doesn't know, one of the new resources in Idle Heroes are these cores, and you can use them to do summons. And there's two different ways to do summons. One of the and you get to them by clicking on this circle right here. One of them is a way where you have a 6.67% chance to get a transcending sphere. Okay, it's just always going to be that chance. The other is that after 15 draws, you'll be guaranteed to get one. So if you do the math, on average, either one, you'll be getting one every 15. This one is more RNG dependent. Over the long run, it should obviously average out. If you think you're an unlucky player, you may want to go ahead and do guidance to get the guaranteed pulls. But, you know, everybody is playing this game for a reason. It does feel bad to win. It does feel good to get the, double transcending spheres and the 10 bombs here. Whereas these are never going to give you, 2 spheres and 10 summons. So how risky do you want to be? Again, mathematically, in the end, it should all play out. But doing these summons will get you transcending spheres, and they're a very powerful resource. And if you go up here into conversion, you can see that you're able to trade one resource of spheres for crystals of transcendence, which I may call purple stuff throughout this. Purple things, purple goo. Purple goo is something else. Purple things, though, we'll try and use the correct terms, but you'll commonly hear them referred to as purple things. And then you can also convert one to Stellar Shards, which could also be called blue stuff. And I've also heard these spheres called hearts. I've also heard them called plates. So if you see in that terminology, that's just a different term for what this resource is. And so you'll see the value of the sphere for either one is 250,000. And people know that in order for them to get Sword Flash Gia, or if they want to get, Halara, I can't even say her name. That's how far away I am from getting her. Halora. You need to get 5 million of the purple things, 5 million of the Transcendence crystals. So not everybody realizes that it actually costs 5 million Stellar Shards in order to get your heroes up to V4. They all know that it's harder to get, but the giant difference in gap between getting V1 with 138,000 resources versus 4.9 million resources to get Void 4. I mean, that's a massive, massive difference. And the only way you're going to be getting there is by using your Stellar Shards and by using your spheres on Stellar Shards. So it's actually a one-to-one relationship. When you're making decisions about how to use your resources, you can look at it as, do I want to get a new Transcendence hero sooner, or do I want to V4 a hero? And I'm going to help you guide through why you should always be choosing to pick those Stellar Shards. So in my opinion, the number one reason you're going to want to go for Stellar Shards is the flexibility that they offer. I've talked about before in some of my previous videos, but for the mere price of 500 gems, which is just half of the scroll pack every day in the marketplace, you are able to completely transform the way your team and your heroes operate. If you need to concentrate on PvP modes, you can take all of your resources and move them on to a PvP hero. If you need to go for a big climb in the Void Vortex, you can reset all of your Stellar Shards and put them onto your ticks and get them up to V4. The value and the flexibility of doing that is just absolutely huge. The other thing is that these shards can be moved and used on any hero, right? So when you go and use your spheres to get a Crystal of Transcendence, you're committing to Sword Flash Gia, you're committing to Halora, right? And if there's one thing we know about Idle Heroes, it's that stronger heroes come out. Like, whales are going to need the best heroes, and Idle Heroes has to give people a reason to spend $2,000 on the newest Transcendence hero. And so it's extremely likely that at least after a couple months, that the newer Transcendence heroes are going to be stronger than the older Transcendence heroes. And eventually with time, Sword Flash Gia will not be, possibly, Sword Flash Gia, obviously eventually Sword Flash Gia will not be the best Transcendence hero you can have. She arguably is maybe not even it right now, but definitely with time, she's going to fall off the map. the value of those stellar shards is they are always going to have that value. You are always going to be able to move them to the nearest hero. Like if you want to think about it, when I started playing this game, like Faithblade, Karmith, Jara, like these are all like really powerful heroes. I spent feathers in the relic shop on King Barden to get my King Barden to E3, right? Like he was very strong. Those heroes have completely fallen off of the face of the map. Like it would be great though if I hadn't put it, and I did, right? But if I could take back the resources that I put into those heroes and regress it and move it into a new hero that's really powerful, like that flexibility is huge. So you're getting the flexibility of being able to adjust your lineup to PvP versus PvE. You're getting the flexibility of future-proofing yourself, because it's going to take an extremely long time, especially if you're, I'm VIP 7, so I've spent a healthy amount of money on this game already. Like, the time it takes to get all your heroes to V4 is going to be extremely long, and there's going to be a lot of content coming out, a lot of things to do. And so giving yourself that future-proofness, if that's a word, it's going to be extremely beneficial. So we talked about the flexibility of using your spheres for Stellar Shards, but let's also talk about the power. The difference between a V4 hero and a base hero is going to be massive. You can almost think about it like a 10-star versus an E5. Yes, Sword Flash Sia is an extremely powerful hero, but Tix is also a powerful hero. And having Tix at V4 versus Sword Flash Sia with no imprints at all, it's not relatable. We know that they both cost 5 million resources. So would you rather have 5 million resources put towards V4 in your Tix or towards a base Sword Flash Sia? If you think about it, you could honestly relate it to what is the difference between a 10-star carry and an E5 Aspen, right? Obviously, at the time, carry, much more powerful hero. But Aspen was still okay, and the difference in their power level is going to be huge. Obviously, the E5 Aspen is going to win 10 out of 10 times. On top of that, Tix specifically, he's still one of the most important heroes for clearing Void content, and the higher you can get in Void Vortex, the more resources you're going to get, the quicker you're going to be able to level up all of your Transcendence heroes. So it's not just that it's more flexible, it's also that it's more powerful. You want these V4 heroes more than you want the base of a Transcendence hero. It might not be as flashy and cool, but it is more powerful, and it is going to help you in the long run. Another reason that you're going to want to be using your spheres on Stellar Shards instead of crystals are that Stellar Shards are just harder to come by. If we're in Realms Gate, you can see you actually get 33% more purple stuff than blue stuff. Crystal is more than shards, right? And that applies to the bosses too. On top of that, there are the mines on the map, right? And the mines only give you purple resources. They don't give you blue resources. This is made up somewhat by the fact that for Void Vortex, you get, let me see if I can find, you get double the amount of resources of Stellar Shards than Crystals of Transcendence. But at the end of the day, you still get massively more resources in purple. I've added up all of the blue resources I have, Stellar Shards, and compare it to how many purple resources I have, Crystals of Transcendence. And I have 40% more purple resources than blue resources right now. That's without me spending any spheres on anything. That's just the natural course of events so far in this game. I'm farming 36 or so in Realms Gate. I'm trying to do a daily summon now of purple stuff, but honestly, I missed some purple summons, some core summons on the early days, so that gap would even be larger. I've got 2,310,000 Stellar Shards versus 3,241,000, now 3,258,000 purple resources. Like, that's just a giant difference. You get them from the mines, you also get them from these summons. If you didn't know, whenever you do one of these summons, you actually get, and I'll go ahead and do one, you actually get about 8,000 purple resources. So, and we'll see if we actually get something great. No, well, another queen for our Halora. So I got 7,000 there. It's a range. On mine, I'm averaging about 8,200 purple resources. So I'm getting them 40% quicker. And your final PvP team, you're going to need 6 heroes with 5 million Stellar Shards and 6 heroes with 5 million Crystals of Transcendence to have the Transcendence hero V4 team, in 2028 when this happens, right? But if you're earning purple resources at 40% greater rate than blue resources, that means the only way you're going to make up that gap is by using the spheres on Stellar Shards. So I hope I've convinced you why you need to be using your spheres on Stellar Shards instead of Crystals of Transcendence. I know it's not necessarily the most flashy thing to be doing. I know it might not be as fun. And honestly, you know, if you enjoy this game and maybe you're not trying to min-max everything and you just want that Asmodel when he comes out, you know, obviously go ahead, use the spheres on Crystals of Transcendence, make yourself happy getting that first Transcendence hero. You know, I'm very happy for you. You know, enjoy the game. But I personally believe it makes more sense to put them on Stellar Shards, and I hope I gave you all reasons why. It was definitely difficult for me to, you know, address that. I've been holding on to my spheres. I do feel like I need to practice what I preach, though, and go ahead and convert them to Stellar Shards here. So we're going to go ahead and do that, bite the bullet, and get our Stellar Shards. But you know, it's a massive, massive difference, and I hope I've convinced you why. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm getting close to 100 subscribers, so please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you all in my next video. Later.